We are live.
Yes,
Welcome,
we are.
welcome, welcome, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome to day two to live to
Let
Jazz
me see.
Luciano and
Maya, Daddy del Sol. Let me see. 'Cause I'm doing here the fixing of this equipment.
so today we continue with our conversation that we
Wait.
started yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So I say get comfortable, go get your tea, your
And you get
coffee.
closer because then you won't be able to appear in
Get
that
closer,
screen.
yes, absolutely. As we try different scenarios to come to you live.
Yes.
So get comfortable, get your tea, get your coffee,
My
whatever,
water, yes.
whatever drink
Before
nourishes
we
you,
begin, I want some water. Yes, that's what I
whatever
need.
nourishes you. And we say thank you and welcome. Welcome again.
Yes. Here we are again. As we promised.
As we promised, absolutely, absolutely.
Yes, as we promised. Here we are again with a beautiful topic.
Yes.
Yes, we will be talking today about the seeker. The seeker. We all have been there, and if you haven't, we begin since we are children, right?
Exactly.
Something happens, and you need to find a way to resolve something, right? So we have been going through this process since we were children.
Exactly.
But there
Yes.
is a special moment in our life that seeking goes deeply.
It goes deeper.
It goes deeper and deeper, and that's why we want to bring today we want to honor all the seekers because the seeker, is the brave one who decides to go within.
Exactly. Who decides to walk that journey?
Yes, because
That journey.
the journey that begins within, because I have actually a shirt. I should have put on my shirt that says the journey begins within.
Absolutely.
And that if you change it inside, it happens outside.
Absolutely. That old saying, as within, so without, is so true. It is so true because the healing begins in your inside. And as you start healing inside, then you start seeing the reflection outside. And the beauty of the outside is that the outside tells you how you are inside. So though the outside is your guide.
Exactly. Your outside is your guide to know what you are supposed to seek, that you need to change in order to create order in your life. So let's talk about the seeker. So who is the seeker, right? Let's begin by saying that. Who is the seeker? Or where are the seekers? I am a seeker.
I said we are seeking.
I think that we never finish seeking.
It's a lifetime journey.
Yes, it's a lifetime journey. It's like, would you finish, you find something and then something else comes up. So that's what we actually came to do, to find those issues that don't allow us to continue.
They all have buzzwords. I call them, we call them repetitive patterns.
Yes, it could be.
Why do I keep repeating the same story?
Yes.
But didn't this happen to me last year? Like we say, I married my mother, I married my father, these repeated patterns.
Energetically, of course. Yeah, because people don't know what you're talking about. But yes, when we go to constellations work, we kind of marry our mother or our father. And yes, and that creates a disorder that, of course, affects our relationships, partnering, for example. So yes, definitely there are certain issues that we should be, having an overview, or put your cards on the table and say, let's see where my life is today, and which of my area, or which of the areas of my life today is like kind of like limping, So you can say, okay, is it my relationships, for example? You can address your relationship. Is it your relationships? Is it your health? Any health condition is also speaking. So what is that telling you that you haven't been able to resolve, that you need to become the seeker in order to change that condition? Is it your
job?
your job,
Your
success in life, money. If
money.
you're not having that stability, if your finances are like limping, or you make money, but as the same as you make, the same it disappears.
As it comes
or
in, it goes out.
Exactly. So what is your journey? What is it that you need to resolve today in order to create balance? Because that's what we are looking for. And that's what the seeker is looking for, to create that equilibrium in his or in her life.
Right. Like we call in Chinese medicine the yin and the yang.
Exactly.
We
We
want to
need
get the
to.
yin and the yang balance.
So let's talk about when the seeker, like when that call happens, because it's a call. It's a call we feel. It's just like it happens especially at a turning point.
At a turning, yeah.
Yes, there is like something that breaks us, but when the pain becomes so acute and you cannot bear that pain anymore, to say, I need help.
Exactly. Like for me, it was when I hit bottom. You know what I mean? Like, like I had an experience that was extremely difficult, and I felt like I was drowning. And I say, you know what? I need to seek help. And those are the blessing. It's those experience, those painful experiences that are heart wrenching. That brings you to tears, that brings you to your knees.
Yes.
And you go, let me go seek some help. Why is this happening?
Yes, yes. So I'm gonna share a little bit of mine, because maybe it's yours as well. I had in my intentions, I wanted to have a healthy relationship. But somehow, most of the relationships that I was attracting into my life had issues with abandonment and betrayal. If it was not one, it was the other one. Or sometimes it was a combo of both, which was worse, right? And I couldn't understand why I was attracting this pattern in my life, that it was so painful, because I couldn't understand what it was. It was beyond what my conscious could, tap into. I was trying to find the root of it. And well, at certain point I said, maybe I'm just like, I have bad luck. That's what usually you said. Maybe I'm just not lucky, that's not gonna happen to me. The destiny doesn't have that for me.
It's not in the cards for me.
Yes, or you conform yourself with what comes sometimes, but what comes is no, like you cannot conform with that, because really we are meant to thrive in life
and live an abundance life.
Yes. So at certain point, I kind of say, well, whatever, that's what comes, I will deal with it. But that's not healthy. That is not healthy at all.
Absolutely.
So life pushed me a little bit more, so I would become the seeker. And it pushed me all the way to the bottom for me to start looking for help and to understand what was happening to me. And it happened when I got pregnant. I was 33 years old back then. My son is now 15. 15. Yes, 15. He just turned 15 last year, yes. And when that happened, my procession, let's put it this way, my unconscious procession had to do with abandonment. So when I got pregnant, guess what? The father of my son wasn't present. So again, the same pattern, but this time, of course, it really touched me. It really got me.
I say it hit a chord.
Yes, it knocked me down. Yeah, it was like really, it went really deep. It was like I could feel that, not just like any other relationship, but it went really deep into my soul. Yeah, I could say that. It was like so painful. And it wasn't related to the father of my son who wasn't present, but it was something deeper that I couldn't understand what it was. So since I couldn't understand what it was, of course, I got to blame it on others. On men. Men are like that. Most men are like that. You tend to put the responsibility of what you're living outside. So I was pretending to put that on my son's father, because I hadn't done my work.
Right.
I wasn't seeking enough to understand why I was attracting this type of relationships and situations in my life.
You're not even aware.
I
If
wasn't
you're
aware
not,
of it. Yes,
you're not
no.
even aware.
And then that created, of course, other feelings, emotions of frustration and anger and resentment and all of these other things before or when I started, it was like sadness, right? I felt this deep sadness I couldn't understand. And then it just like, escalate
You
to
feel so
other
alone.
feelings.
You feel so
Yes,
alone.
yes, I felt alone and I felt like I didn't understand. And I used to ask God, it's like, why this happened to me? Or why did I have to go through this? And I couldn't see the why back then. I was just so lost in my emotions of the moment and what I was going through that I just couldn't see more.
We close ourselves and stuff like that.
Yes.
Like you say, we close ourselves, we blame God. Somebody has to take the blame.
Exactly, but
It's not
us,
us.
because we don't want to see that it's us.
It's painful to look inside.
It is too painful to look inside. So at certain point, when I really went all the way to the bottom, I said, I need help. I don't want to be here anymore. It was like I was in this deep hole where I actually got sick.
Right. I was going to say, didn't it give you some health concerns?
Yes. I got hypoglycemia back then, and I was just feeling fatigued and tired, and I got disconnected from life. I was feeling depressed.
Right.
And I actually stayed in that state for probably 2 years.
And you were a functional depressed person.
I was functionally depressed, just like a zombie. You have to do things because I have a baby.
You have to live, right?
But it's no fun. It's not fun at all. I used to complain about, things, men still, God, and everything. So I decided to put on my shield, right, and become the strong one.
And the seeker.
Yes, the seeker. No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Back then, I was like, well, that's the world and the reality. I'm gonna have to deal with it. So you become that sort of a unbalanced hero. I will protect my son. I will, provide. I will do this or that. But that's out of imbalance.
Imbalance.
Yes, it's not a balanced hero. It's got anger behind. It's got issues behind. So that wasn't the moment until I really, really touched
it's like
the
a
bottom.
big cover up. You just covered everything up.
You try to cover everything up to just maybe conform and say, okay, that's what happened to me and I have to accept it. And there is no way to change it and that I have to deal with it. But there are ways to change it. I want to say there are ways to change that. Oh my God, thank God. So when I went all the way to the bottom and I said, I cannot bear this anymore. This isn't taking me anywhere. This isn't a fun place. This isn't life. Then I really look up and say, I need help.
And we breathe. Because
Yes.
that's when we're ready to start the journey.
That's when the journey started, yes. And so, yeah, that's like a call. You say, I need help, and the universe listens. So when I got out of that deep hole, right, I started looking for help.
You immerse yourself in it.
Totally
immerse yourself in looking for help.
Yes, I said, I need help. So I decided to tap into the healing and holistic field.
Mm-hmm.
And I became, first a practitioner, then I was a facilitator, and then I was teaching. But it was a whole process of each of those modalities that I was going through.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through all sort of healings, and my first, I took care of my body because that was the most that was causing me imbalance. So I decided to go and take some holistic nutrition and then Tai Chi and Qigong because I knew my energy needed to be lifted up again. So I needed to embrace something to help me getting out of there. So once your vessel feels better, then you can
back to strength,
then I can look for something else. Then the seeker can go and look deeper and see what else you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did after was that after that I decided to, okay, then I have my body feels good, my energy is good. So now I need to see what it is that is causing me this. So I went to the mind. I say, the mind, that's what it is. That's what's causing me this. Yes, I need to address the mind. And yes, I did became a life coach, right? And that tool helped me with a lot of my perspectives, right? I got to reprogram many perspectives, but that wasn't enough. I still heard that voice from really, like from the depth of my being, that was still telling me, Maya, there is more that you haven't done yet, that you need to do in order to change those patterns that you have. And
The beginning of the
and
trip.
that was the beginning of the journey of my soul's journey.
Mhm.
Then I had to really dive into the
Looking
deepest,
looking inside of you.
yes, the deepest sides of my unconsciousness, like
Mhm.
going down into the ocean where it's all black. Like you see those, when I see those programs, then they show the ocean down where it's so dark. That's where you have to travel, because we tend to go and seek the iceberg, as you say, the iceberg only with, like, it's almost at the surface.
You see only the tip.
Yes, that's the tip, and then this, yeah, that's the tip, and then this is the bottom, and you tend to look here, but it goes beyond. You have to check on the water where this iceberg is floating, because that's where those issues are connected to you.
And what's so interesting, when you look at the iceberg and you look underneath, it is rooted. It
Mm-hmm.
is rooted, and you look and you don't can't even let it overwhelm you. But you
Mm-hmm.
look at it standing there, rooted, ready for you to start digging it up.
Yes.
And you have to keep going down and down and down until you start bringing it back up.
Yes.
And it's not the surface.
No, it's not the surface.
It's
It's
not the
just like the
surface.
surface is just the beginning.
It's just the beginning.
It's something that, and the idea of this is that you need to, speaking of this, is that we need to bring those issues that are in that unconsciousness back to the consciousness. That's our goal as a seeker, to go find them and bring them up to the consciousness so we can be aware of what they are, why they happen, and how they affect my life. Because that's the most important part, how they affect my life. So, going back to the story, I decided to go, jump deeper. And so I found family constellations, which was the tool that helped me go and dive deeper into those issues that were down there. And I found out, of course, that my genealogical tree, my ancestors' tree, had issues with both abandonment and betrayal.
That's what's so fascinating about this.
Yes.
That you look like it didn't even start in this lifetime. When you think about it, it started in our ancestors.
Yes.
You know what I mean? When we're here living here, we don't even think that, but it's the journey that makes us continue to look. And then she found this therapy that showed her, wait a minute, this starts even before your mom.
Yes, yes, it does. I went all the way to grandma, and the issues all started there on both of my lineages. So how come it wouldn't happen to me? And usually this transgenerational, because the transgenerational repetitive pattern happens to the descendants because they don't know it. And if you don't know it, that's when I come again to that phrase that I repeat often. Those who don't know their past are condemned to repeat it. That's our destiny, and not because we want it. Consciously, we don't want that. I want, success, and I want to make money, and I want to have a beautiful and functional relationship, but it doesn't happen only because I want it. I need to go and seek, why am I not having this in my life? And mostly is related to your tree, to your genealogical tree.
And it's things that were not healed in the past. That it comes and it travels to your grandmother, to your mom, and to you. And sometimes you're the chosen one
Yes.
that come to this world to heal that.
Yes, that's
That
a
was
great
the part.
point.
That was the
Yes.
part I found extremely fascinating
Yes.
for me. I'm
Yes.
like, and I'm like, what? How did I get so lucky? Because it's not that it's not like it's an easy journey, But yeah, I was the lucky one. But yes,
Yes.
so to me that was really transformational. Like, wow, it was a whole different way of looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't so simple just changing your subconscious mind. It
Mm-hmm.
was even deeper than that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes, being aware of that, but also, as you were mentioning this, I want to go and give just say something else about it, and it's this. If we go in a higher consciousness, right, and see this from this new angle that I'm going to talk about, we can understand better why you had to live these experiences. And it is
mhm,
like this: we come to serve in different ways, right? You can have a talent and say, okay, this is my talent, and I'm going to serve others with my talent, with my gifts. I'm going to serve. We are always serving each other. Even if I'm the perpetrator and the other one is the victim, I'm still serving this person to see that there is something that this person needs to resolve in order not to get more people to abuse them. Let's put it
mhm,
this way. So we are all helping each other, even though it seems wrong sometimes for people, right? But we are
mhm,
here not to judge, but to see the dynamics that
mhm.
happen in life. So we, before coming here, we chose to serve also, besides other things, our system. We chose a system that we could resolve something because we wanted to also experience and learn something about it. So we chose those parents, that system with that situation. Of course, when we get here, we kind of forget what it was, right?
Right.
It's
So the
like,
moment you're born,
yeah,
it's like you clean
yeah,
slate,
yeah. They put a veil on
a
you.
veil,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The higher things that happen in the cosmos put a veil on you so you cannot remember what it is. And the first thing that can happen to you is that you live that experience of pain or suffering with your parents or whoever, or your caregivers, because those are your first models to see what life is, which is not, but it's what you come to help to resolve something from that system. So you can see your parents or whoever is taking care of you is going through that sort of issue.
Those are your first teachers.
Your first teachers. Then, since you learn that, because you learn by seeing, by listening, and by feeling,
Mhm.
oh, that's what love is. If love is abusive, then I might become abusive, or I will become the victim of abuse, right? So that's how it works. But eventually in life, you start attracting people with the same sort of issues. So you attract people that would, hurt you, or you will hurt. That's how it is pretty much, right? The game and the dynamic is kind of the same always.
What I found interesting that is
Mm-hmm.
so true. Like attracts like, and I know we call it the law of attraction, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just whatever you're feeling inside, you will attract a person that is either going to help you heal it or it's going to evolve you.
Exactly. It's your opportunity.
Right.
It's
Mm-hmm.
always your opportunity to say, oh, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But when we don't see it, as it happened to me, you tend to blame others and say, it's them, it's not me. But if you're aware enough, you say, wait a second, what's that situation that is happening to me is showing me? I don't like it, so something is not going well here, and I need to seek to see what it is.
And that takes a lot of courage.
Yes, it does.
Takes
It
a
does.
lot of courage because that means now you have to look at you and
Mm-hmm.
look at your truth and be okay with your truth, even if you
Yes.
don't like it.
Yes.
But that's the way you begin. It's like people say it is what it is, but actually it's the observing. You observe yourself
Mm-hmm.
and now you start that deep seeking.
Exactly. So, one point that is very important here is also to see that once you recognize what it is and you change that, then you heal it and your system heals that.
Can I take a deep breath? Because it is so profound.
Yes, it is so
It
profound.
is so
Once you get
profound.
to acknowledge the truth, it's like, that's what I came to do here in the system. Done.
It's like the
Done.
Bible, like it says, like the Bible said, the truth will set you
Free.
free. And
Yes.
you do feel that liberation.
Yes, definitely. Yes, that's what happens. So that's what the seeker is coming to do. Okay, living the experience, even though it's painful. And I know some destinies are harder than others. And we only know how painful it is, each of us, because our pain, we see it differently depending on what it is. Because if my pain, yeah, when you push your button, if my button is called abandonment, right, and someone leaves me, that's what is going to knock me down again. That was what was happening to me, and I didn't know it. And that's why I was repeating the story and the suffering that I couldn't bear anymore. But now that I know it, right, it doesn't really happen to me anymore, and I don't feel abandoned anymore, and I don't leave others, because it's not only that others do that to you, but you also tend to do it to others, or you tend to do it to maybe your plans, your projects. I will abandon my projects. It's like a lot of connecting dots that you don't see inside, but that are related to the same issue. So once you get to resolve that, then it's like this liberation is like, you cannot express it with words. The only word I can say is like,
It's an off feeling, a
you feel
hot
like,
feeling. And to me, what's interesting, one point I want to stretch is like what you
Mhm.
said, like, when we think abandonment and we think betrayal, we automatically think relationships.
Yes.
This person betrayed me, but you can be doing it to yourself by, like what you said, not finishing a project.
Mm-hmm.
You could be doing it with yourself by hiding the gifts that you have because you
Mm-hmm.
have fear and you don't want people to know.
Yes.
So you're betraying yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So that gets so intricate and so deep.
Yes.
And I really want to point that out because a lot of people can say, no, I have a good relationship. That's not my problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I felt. But
Yes.
what I realized, there was so many gifts I had that I wouldn't even touch it because of fear. What will people think? So I betrayed and abandoned myself. And it took an experience of deep pain and suffering for me to wake up and seek.
Yes. So we are here talking about that's what we humans do. We need to be all pushed all the way to that painful state to be able to say, oh no, I don't want this pain anymore. Please help me.
I know. I would say, why would I choose that? Why would I choose that?
Yes.
And then it took me a while to totally understand and to understand why I picked to live different experiences and different scenarios in order for me to learn and to grow and to evolve.
Mhm.
And now I pay attention. Now I really pay attention, and before I fly off the handle, I sit down and listen first and talk to myself
Yes.
and continue seeking.
Beautiful. And as we said at the beginning, it's an endless
Journey.
seeking journey. We just won't stop. Once you start, and if you, I mean, just imagine how many issues we are carrying in our DNA, because it's all transgenerational, and all of the information that we came to serve and help resolve. And once you recognize that and you are aware of it and you put yourself at service, you say, oh, wait, but if I can get to heal this, then I can help my descendants not to live that.
Right, exactly.
So we say, okay, let's go deeper and see what else is there, and let's just take care of it. And that's what really we do. Once we start like doing this work consciously, and we put ourselves at service of life, because it's the service that we are helping life improve and evolve. Actually,
In our generations, like for me, I'm sure for you, it's our kids.
Our kids,
Because
yes.
they repeat what they learned from us. I know
Yes.
sometimes I see it in my kids, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I know. And then you feel guilty because oh, such a bad mother, but we didn't know back then. It had to happen. Like when I was pregnant, of course, back then I didn't have this consciousness. So my son already went through abandonment, from the father, and that's something that he will have to heal eventually. But now I get to see, the roots, and he does too, because he already has been seeing, all of this. I open, my windows for him to see everything that I can, show him. So he will save himself some painful experiences if it's what is meant to be, because we don't know. Sometimes we see it, but we need to experience it before we can change it. And I'm okay with it because that's that. Everybody is in your every one of us is in our independent journey.
Right. And that's one of the
Yes.
things I know for me, it's one of the hardest things that I am experiencing now as I do this work. And then sometimes I see my repeated patterns in my children.
Mhm.
And even though you love them and you can guide them, you have to let them live it.
Yeah.
We cannot interfere. And to me, that's, it's hard because I want to say, no, 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 no. But, they come to live life and we have to give them that opportunity.
Yes,
We
to
just
seek.
to seek. We
To
have
seek.
to have to
They
seek.
have to
Mhm.
seek themselves, because we don't learn by others telling us not to do.
Exactly.
We learn by being pushed in pain until we say, oh, I don't want this anymore. I'm going to change directions and do it differently. But it's always important to find the root of why you fall into that, situation, or that is causing you these issues.
Right.
That's very important
Be aware.
to be aware, to seek for it. Yeah.
And as you go through this different experience, now you do become more aware.
Mhm.
So when it comes, now you get it, and now you do it differently.
Yes.
We allow ourselves to do it differently, and not keep repeating those patterns.
Mhm.
So we catch ourselves, and then with that, our family, they see it, and now as we healed ourselves, they're like, look, wait a minute,
Mhm.
mom did it different, so I can do it different too.
Yes, yes, we are like
And
kind of
that
like
goes deeper. That even
opening
goes
the
deeper.
path for them,
Opening the path for
for
them.
them to like facilitate. That's what we do. We facilitate the path
Mhm.
without even using words or telling them how to do it or what to do. We just do our work, and then we just facilitate the path, and they have to go through that path and find whatever they are supposed to find.
Yeah.
And change whatever they are supposed to change. But as much as we do this work, that will be, rewarding actually for them too. So speaking of this, we want to invite you. I will be doing a free webinar on Saturday on family constellations, what they are, how they can help you, and how you are connected to your system, how it affects you. And we are going to be talking about something very important, which is the orders of love. Are you following the orders of love? Because there is an order that flows organically. If the order in life is not flowing organically, then stop and look.
Because there will be a lot of conflict.
There is conflict there. And if there is conflict and life is not flowing like without effort, then we must stop and say, okay, this is showing me something. This is my blessing and my opportunity to change my situation. This situation or this person is showing me something that I must change, heal, transform, integrate, whatever it is.
And the thing is that once you begin, there's no going back. Like even if they say you can either learn it 2 by 2 or 4 by 4.
Mhm.
So you can either they show it to you the first time and you go okay and you embrace and you learn it,
Mhm.
or you keep going and they'll show it to you again and again until you learn it.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So now that you know it,
So one of the benefits
take
of
it on the
this,
first time.
right, one of the benefit of the systemic and family constellation is that when it comes, you come and you learn the therapy, and now you do it in 2 by 2. You learn it the first time. You don't have to go through it 2, 3, 4, 5, or your entire lifetime.
Yes.
Sometimes you go your entire lifetime. So
yes, yes. So it's only one time. Confront it.
mhm.
You have it in front of you. Can you see it? Do you want to change it? Because this is optional too. And if you do, great. If not, continue it until you're ready to change whatever it is, right? So remember, I'm going to leave the link here in the comments for you to join the webinar on Saturday. It's
At 11
Saturday,
a.m.
the 30th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time.
Eastern
And we
Time.
would love you to have this information. I actually want everybody to know this, because if we know this information, we can understand better what is not aligned in my life and in my system that is affecting my relationships, my health, my finances, my success, right? And it all has a root. It all has a root. So welcome to join. And if you feel like this information resonates with you, then I'm going to leave the link here when we close the meeting, when we close the program. I will leave the meeting here, and I mean the link for you
In the bottom.
in the bottom. I will leave exactly the link in the bottom for you to sign up. And I hope to see you on Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time for Orders of Love.
Absolutely. And please invite your friends.
Please, just
Invite
share.
them, let us share because we have a world to heal and it starts with us.
Yes.
It starts with us. It starts by healing us and then we can heal the world.
Yes. So please share and we will appreciate that. And I think that's what we wanted to share today. I don't know if you have something else to share.
I think we're good there. So we want to say thank you so much for coming and letting us go and have tea and coffee and chat with you. And thank you for being with us here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you all. It was so beautiful to open this space to share this, and we hope these words can bring some light, some sort of, oh, that could be it, some sort of whatever, we just are throwing
Right. For me, I
this
take
out there.
I take deep breath. I say thank you. And the journey begins. Right,
the
Maria?
journey begins within.
Within.
So remember to sign up. And we'll see you next time around.
Okay.
Sending love
Lots
and
of love.
hugs and blessings.
Thank you. Take care.